말해줘. 뭔지 몰라 도대체 어떻게 그럴 수가 있나 이 세상에는 나보다 더 잘난 남자가 있다는 걸 알아.
Like they got a pitcher and I was like, okay, I'll do that, but like I just don't like margaritas. Like I don't like tequila, so I started drinking it. Like I had a glass of it and I was like, I will never do this again.
Margaritas are good. What are we talking about?
I don't know, dude. I can't do tequila. Tequila and me are not fans. So
I mean, I don't drink tequila except for in
margaritas, yeah.
Margaritas, but I love margarita. I love fruity shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always can taste the tequila behind it, so it always is just never bueno with me.
I think what it is.
If I wanted something like that, I feel like I would just get like a spiced rum. Like if I wanted something like a little like sweeter, like that's what I would go for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what it is for me at least is that, and this is just my working theory. Is that I completely destroyed my palate by starting to drink bourbon straight.
Oh yeah, that'll fuck you up.
So in a good way, everything else doesn't even come close.
Yeah.
Nothing like hits me anymore. I mean, the White Russian hit me, but not in the bad way. It was more like, this is a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
But like anything else I'll shoot. It's okay. Yeah. The bourbon's worse.
Yeah.
You know, I bought the scotch I mentioned last week. Nope, it's nothing.
Yeah.
The bourbon kicks me in the face.
Yeah.
Way worse. Or at least it used to. Hey guys, welcome to Check the Vending Machines. This is a weekly pop culture podcast where two best friends get together and talk about pop culture, movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. I'm Jason, that's Zach. Ooh. Right now I'm drinking a Fuller's London Pride Amber Ale, and it's fucking garbage. Zach, what are you drinking? You got anything going?
No, I mean, I'm just drinking. So my parents, I don't know, they do this thing whenever I move. So they've been like sending me, them and my aunt have been like sending me a bunch of like perishables and shit. And my mom got me like it was like an 18 pack or whatever of like the variety bubbly sparkling water. So I've just been going through those. So.
Okay. Hey man, it's free.
Hey, yeah, I mean, can't complain with that. So, but that's what I've been going through. Look, Jason.
Yeah.
I can't talk about bubbly water right now. It's a big weekend. Big weekend.
Okay.
I feel like there was two things I was going to talk about. There's one thing I'm definitely going to talk about for sure, which is the fact that, have you heard of a new game called DNF Duel?
I have not, no.
This game looks fucking sick, and the beta is dropping tonight. I think it might have already dropped, but whatever. So I'm going to be playing the shit out of that because that game looks super fun. It's by Arc System, and it's actually aiding, too, the guys who did Marvel 3 and Tetsuya vs. Capcom and all that stuff. They had so they dropped the first trailer for literally a year ago. I think it was the tail end of 2020. They dropped the first trailer that DNF Duel exists, and then we didn't hear fucking shit out of them for the entire year. And then literally 2 weeks ago, I think they dropped the first trailer where they showed off the DNF Duel's back, and they dropped a new character or something like that. And ever since that happened, I think for the first 5 base roster trailer, they did one trailer a week. And then at the beginning of this week, they dropped a big trailer that they were there's a beta happening at the end of this weekend. And everybody was like, oh, fuck yeah. And they were and also 5 more characters. And so now it's every single day they've been dropping trailer for a new character. And then today they finally got into some of the mechanics of how the game's going to play.
Right.
I can't wait to fucking get my hands on this game. That's
awesome, dude.
Sounds so much fun. And every single one of these fucking characters actually looks legitimately sick as fuck. So the base roster right now, I didn't know really much about it. I feel like I'd heard of DNF or Dungeon Fighter Online a little bit when I was, because the whole fighting game is based off the Dungeon Fighter Online MMO. So I feel like I'd heard about it a little bit when I was a kid, but I never had I forgot about it. Never mentioned again until this happened. But like all the characters are like based off class archetypes in this MMO, so they don't have like character names. They're just class names. But they all look so fucking sick. Like they got like a berserker that's like the Unga Bunga swordsman dude. They've got an inquisitor who's like a fucking badass like warrior priest lady. They've got a ranger who's like Dante but without swords. And then they have the hitman character who is basically Dante with swords and guns. They've got a grappler who's like a Ryu lookalike, but he also is like a judo type dude. They got the fighter girl, which is like Jam, or who else? I'm trying to think of a character that you would know. I guess maybe like a Buki type, maybe. Not like that fucking annoying, but like she's not like a ninja, but like I feel like character design wise, she looks similar to a Buki. They've got that. They did the Kunoichi. They did the Vanguard, who's like, for me, he's like the most boring one. He looks like a Dynasty Warriors character, and I'm like, that's cool, but like compared to like all the other ones that they put out, I was like, it's kind of basic. They had like a Dragon Knight lady who like actually summons a dragon and like does like dope ass shit with her dragon. And then the last one that they just dropped yesterday was the fucking Crusader. This guy looks sick as fuck. He's a big bodied dude who will slap you in the face with a hammer and also says hallelujah when he slaps you up across a giant cross shield or whatever. He looks so dope. I can't wait to like actually, and like the beta has like all 10. I can't wait for it, dude. And so I'm so happy. I'm so excited. It's like the most excited I've been for a fighting game in like a really long time.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. Hopefully it downloads well, and hopefully
that's what I'm hoping for.
You can matchmaking works, and hopefully
they got rollback, so we'll see how good the rollback is. But I'm hoping.
There you go.
You know, Arc System ever since Guilty Gear, and leading up to Guilty Gear, I feel like it's, at least Arc System in general has like realized like if they want their games specifically to be successful, like they got to rollback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even their games have like not even. Like before Guilty Gear Strive, I feel like a lot of their games had like had no coverage, like even in the FGC. And so yeah, it's like if they want any of their games to be popular, like they gotta have rollback. Because the last one they did that didn't was Grand Blue, which is like a super fun game, but I can't play that game online because the shittiest thing I've ever played. So.
Hey man, well good luck to you. Hopefully your combos connect.
Oh, that's what.
But we are here to chat about continuing from last week, and a prequel to next week, which is the sequel movies to The Matrix from 1999. We're doing Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions.
Yes.
I think 2002, 2003, or was it 2003, 2003? I can't remember.
I don't think they came out the same year, did they?
I don't know if they pulled like a beginning of the year, end of the year thing. I don't remember.
Matrix Reloaded was 2003. Okay, so maybe that was 2003. Oh, yeah, okay. So what? So I don't remember. So it was like, did one just come out at the beginning of the year and one came out at the end of the year?
That's what I'm pretty sure it was. That's my memory, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense, I guess, if you had one come out in January and one come out in December, I guess. Or something like that.
Hey, works fine for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy with that if I was a Matrix fan at the time. Although, I mean, maybe not so much, back in the day after you got finished with Reloaded, but I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it, but like, I personally still kind of like Reloaded, so.
Oh, well, I'll preface this right now. I love both of these movies.
Yeah. I mean, I think less so. I think of these two, I think I like Reloaded the most. I mean, I think Revolution's got some interesting stuff, especially with like, I mean, that movie specifically is like heavily focused on like the real world, like Zion stuff, which is interesting. And I like seeing like the technology and like their battle plans and like all that kind of thing of like how they actually fight in like the real world outside of the constraints of like computer programs and shit like that. And how they have like fucking armored mech suits is like kind of dope.
Yeah.
But Reloaded is just so much fucking fun.
Well, so going off of the masterpiece opus of The Matrix 1,
Yes.
which really it gives you the tip of the iceberg for the philosophy stuff and the premise.
Yeah.
Reloaded is the heavy-handed philosophy.
Oh my god.
It is so
There's like
much.
three or
It's so
four
in depth.
monologues in here that are like, yeah, just like slap you in the face with like
It,
all the
it,
philosophy.
it's literally like you have the Merovingian, you have the Oracle's monologue, you have the Architect's monologue,
Yeah.
you have it's there's so much exposition to explain choice versus no choice,
Mhm.
previous iterations of the Matrix, all that stuff. But all that stuff I think bogs down people who don't like that stuff.
Mhm.
Because I learned to love it. The first
Yeah.
time I watched the Reloaded, I was like, okay, this is a lot of skippable things to cool fight sequences.
Mm.
And then Revolutions is like really like super duper light with any of the
Yeah,
philosophy
there's really
stuff.
not a whole lot of philosophy stuff until you get to the end, and it's like Keanu becomes internet Jesus, and then
And even that's just like, okay, it's pretty much just like Deus Ex,
yeah,
Deus Machine
yeah,
thing, Machine Pact.
yeah,
And the two movies that people always say, and film fans or cinephiles or the
yeah.
general public always are like, well, they're terrible.
Well, it
And
was
I
like
think like
even
they're
today,
not terrible.
I was reading because I guess like first reactions for Resurrection came out, and it was like in the article somebody was like, yeah, and everybody agrees that they're better than Reloaded and Revolutions, and I was like, but I kind of like those movies.
Well, Revolutions is just a long haul of big sequences that just like are kind of like, okay, boom, fighting here, ship crashes here,
Yeah.
fight sequence in the
It's just like
rain.
an extended falling action to like everything that like kind of went down and Reloaded, because I mean
Well, it's
basically
literally like
yeah,
it really is like that's why it says like to be concluded at the end of
yeah,
Reloaded, because it's literally like the third act. The
yeah,
whole movie is just the third act of Reloaded, just an extended third act of just all the falling action.
yeah, because there's no like intro conflicts that are induced in that. It's just a constant resolution to all of
There's
the
no
different
plot.
conflicts
Yeah.
that were basically set up in Reloaded. So
It's like the all Reloaded just sets up everything that Revolutions is just ending.
yeah.
But when people say, and me myself included, years ago,
Mhm.
which is like, oh, Reloaded Revolutions are not good.
Mhm.
When I look back on the movies now as a whole, they're not that they're not good.
They're just
It's that
not
they're
as
not
good
as
as
good
the
as the
Matrix. Yeah.
Matrix. Which is like impossible. It's like saying like Back to the Future 2 and 3 are good,
Yeah.
but they're not good as Back to the Future
Yeah, they're
1. It's
not
like,
Back
yeah,
to the Future.
they're good movies,
Yeah.
but they're not as good as the first movie.
Right.
Right? But Matrix Reloaded to me is obviously I agree with you, it's way better than Revolutions.
Yeah.
But what I love about Reloaded is one, the opening sequence
It's great.
is fantastic.
Which
It's fantastic.
wait, which one? You talking about the Trinity one, or the one after
That I love that
Yeah.
too, but primarily the opening of Neo at the
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, dude, that meetup and he gets the agents. Oh my god, when he does the hell tit and he goes upgrades, I was like, hell yeah, dude. I'm in there.
It's that, but it's also like, okay, now we're seeing other operators.
Yeah.
We're seeing other rebel whatever.
Oh yeah, this like Reloaded, like, I mean, you can tell that they kind of want to do, but like it just explodes all of the world building. They're like,
You were seeing
oh,
other ships, other captains.
yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, because Matrix kind of hints that there's like other people that are operating, from Zion and all that stuff. But yeah, you don't actually like physically see it until Reloaded.
Well, and literally in that first opening sequence, we really just learned that Morpheus is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, basically.
Which is like, okay, he's the guy, he's a captain, he's a leader, everyone respects him.
Mm-hmm.
He goes against the grain, he's a religious person,
Yeah.
he's kind of like all this he's literally just like it's Qui-Gon Jinn. But what I love about that opening sequence, besides it just being a cool sequence, is that we learn so much about Morpheus being around other captains
Mm-hmm.
by them being like, okay, you want us to break the rules. He's like, yeah. And they go, okay, well, you're Morpheus, so we're gonna do it because you're Morpheus.
Well, the part that I always find interesting that is that it's not just like we're gonna do it because you're Morpheus. They're like, we're gonna do it because we know you're gonna take all the blame for it. So we kind of
Yeah.
get like carte blanche to be like, and Morpheus told us to do it.
Right. But it's also like everyone at Zion
Yeah.
has this like quasi respect for Morpheus. So you want to know like what did he do in the course of his search for the one to make people respect him so much?
Yeah.
And or hate him, like, you know, Naomi's, whatever his name, I can't remember his name, Colonel whatever, General whatever.
Carter? I feel like
I can't remember his name. Yeah.
like yeah.
But what? So I want to say this at the beginning of the movie because I do agree with you that Neo the fight sequence with the agents is, it's like you start the movie previously in the Matrix 1, which is like Trinity like running away.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
like,
this movie
they're
begins
all like
with
fucking terrified of agents, and I mean,
yeah,
all
and
of them still are. It's just Neo is like, I can take agents.
not see. I'll disagree with you in a second with that. But this movie begins with Neo like, oh no, I'm gonna not only fight one of you, I'm gonna fight three of you and beat all of you,
Yeah.
even though the machines gave you upgrades. It's like, no, I'm still better than you guys.
Yeah. But I will have to say, before we get to that, we also get the tease that the boy Hugo Weaving is back as well.
Yeah.
You get the, I don't know. I mean, with that one, it's like clearly they're not hiding that it's Hugo. I mean, they are, but like it's Hugo Weaving's voice, so like you're not really hiding it that well. But the fact that like they have that initial tease that like Smith is back, and then you're the whole movie, you're like, how the fuck is Smith back? Like, how the fuck is this possible? Yeah. And then you get to Revolutions, and it's still not fucking answered how the hell he's back.
Well, so the answer is this: is that the Oracle knew and was a gamble that if she has the imprint of Neo on the agent, which was going to remove him from the system's hold, that would end up putting the Matrix in either a wartime or a peacetime. So it's like, the Oracle didn't do it, but she also allowed it, kind of foresaw that would happen when the two of them met.
Yeah.
And when Neo imprints on Agent Smith to relieve him from the system. But you said a second ago about how they're still afraid of agents. And I actually thought that too growing up until I rewatched the movie this most recent time, which is that this is Morpheus fights the agent in the highway sequence. Right. He's confident. He actually hits the agent multiple times.
He does.
Think about the first movie.
I would say that it's not. I would say with that though, I would say he's much better at fighting the agent, but it's still not a thing where it's like he's not Neo where he's like actively going to like fight the agents. Like he's fighting it out of desperation because he has to protect the keymaker.
Of course not. But the difference is that I saw someone say this on Reddit when I was looking it up, just to see kind of if people have the same opinion of me, which people do, which was that imagine you see someone, you're playing a boss and you keep fighting this boss in the video game and you keep losing, and you finally see someone on Twitch or someone on YouTube, you see that person beat it. So now you play that boss again and you do a little bit better because you know the boss is beatable. So it's like, well, yeah, of course Trinity and Morpheus have more confidence to fight agents. They just spent the last however long watching Neo whip their ass. Yeah. So they know that they can't do what Neo does because Neo's the one. But they now know that the agents can hurt. Yeah. So seeing Morpheus fight the agent like in the building sequence in the first movie where he gets his ass handed to him, versus now he's fighting on a freeway and he's not holding his own, but he's not dying right away. Yeah. And the fact that Niobe's like, go kick his ass. Like, at what point in the last movie would you think they say there's agents coming, run away? Yeah. But in this movie, Niobe says, go kick his ass. Yeah. But that is like, to me, like, that's a bad captain, because in the previous movie, they go, Trinity agents there. Shit. Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? So it's like almost like as though all these captains see Neo or is like one-handedly fighting these agents, and they're like, well, maybe we can't necessarily destroy them, but maybe we don't have to worry about dying every single time if we just know that we can Also, we know Morpheus is probably like the top tier echelon of.
I was going to say he's also like probably the top of like
But we know
all
that
of the fighters
him,
outside of
Trinity,
Yeah.
Probably Seraph or what's his name?
Seraph,
Ghost?
yeah. Oh, you mean
No. What's
Naomi's?
Naomi's
Is
partner?
Ghost, yeah.
So maybe those guys and girls are probably the top tier.
Yeah.
Probably the old white guy captain probably wouldn't stand a chance,
I probably wouldn't expect him to, yeah.
But speaking of the highway sequence,
Mm-hmm.
because that is such a long sequence.
It's a prolonged action set piece.
And what I love about
There's so many
this
stages
movie,
to it too.
right? Increasingly level of stress.
Yeah.
They keep
Well,
adding up the pressure.
Well, there's like an increase of stress, but then there's a decrease of stress, and then the stress increases again. Because the initial stress is obviously with the ghosts.
Right.
And like their whole shit. And like, first of all, I love the explanation of this. They're like, in the Matrix, mythological creatures are real because they're just from old programs, old Matrixes.
Yeah, they're from the Apocalypse Matrix.
Yeah. They're like from the Nightmare Matrix, where like vampires and shit were like fucking real.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have like the initial fight with the ghosts, and then they get on the freeway, and then that brings the agents into the system where they're all disrupting all the stuff on the highway. So that's the added stress, and you've got that back and forth between them fighting off ghosts and fighting off agents. And then Morpheus gets to the point where he bookmarks the ghosts, and they're like, okay, settle down. Now you can just get to Neo with the keymaker. And they're like, nope, agents are back, and then the fucking stress ramps back up again. So
yeah, and I love that the whole sequence from the whatever it's called, the house.
Oh yeah, the Mayor of Indian's house, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember what it's called either,
but they were from the house.
Dude, that fucking fight scene with Neo in the house is like, so good.
See, so here's the thing. I actually don't think. I'm actually glad that this movie has so much Trinity and Morpheus. Because I actually don't love Neo's fight sequences only because I know he won't lose.
That's fair. Yeah.
But and they're great sequences. Obviously, the house sequence is great. Watching him fight Agent Smith in the courtyard, that's great. I love those sequences, even with the shoddy CG.
That's
even
true.
though
There's
my 4K
in his fights until you get to like Smith stuff.
And even with Smith courtyard, he's still fine. He flies away.
Yeah.
So even with that, but I love that the middle sequence of the movie has such a long Trinity Morpheus sequence because it's like you give them time of day to really like show that they can fight too.
Yeah.
And then that, even with like at the end of the truck sequence where Morpheus is like, Neo, wherever you are, I can use you right now. And you see Neo constantly pushing his boundaries, which is like good storytelling too, because he's far away as hell, and he's flying harder than he's ever flown before to save Morpheus, and then he flies even faster at the end.
You know what that is?
To save Trinity.
That's some good anime shit right there.
That's anime shit.
That's some anime shit.
That's because the Wachowskis fucking love anime.
They love it, and you know what? I love them for loving it. So,
to me, it shows that it's really good character storytelling to like, okay, we know Neo's great. We know he's the one. We know that he's the one respelled to spell Neo. Oh,
what?
No one. It's like fucking Alucard and Dracula. I remember people, right? But you see that he still has limits, and then he has to propel past them to survive. And then giving Trinity and Morpheus so much time to shine without Neo even near.
Yeah.
That to me was really, really. Those are my favorite scenes in the movie, actually.
Yeah.
Like, Neo fighting Seraph, I don't care. We know Neo's gonna win, right?
I mean, I still like the Seraph stuff just because I think Seraph's an interesting character in that aspect where he's like, he's like the Oracle aspect where he's like a program that actually is like technically against the construct that he's a part of. So,
I want to get your opinion on this too because there's no official answer on that.
Okay.
Which is this? So we know from the architect. I know this podcast is bouncing around everywhere, but there's just a lot of shit. It's the Matrix.
It's the Matrix. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
But so we know that the Oracle is not a good guy. The Oracle was made to be a bad. The Oracle was made to be a bad guy.
Oh yeah. Well,
right? That's the intent of
was
the
it making
intent
me a
of the
bad guy?
program.
Because I thought the intent of it was just it was a program that was meant to understand human psychology.
It was meant to understand human psychology so that the one would reinsert the prime program
As yeah,
into the source, which would then destroy Zion
and
and leave the few
restart the cycle
surviving
over.
and restart the cycle.
Yeah.
So it's a program that was created by the machines to understand humans, to give that slight piece of choice, but ultimately was to reset the matrix over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But they never say at what point why the Oracle allowed Agent Smith to create that balance, because the whole point is that Agent Smith becomes a problem for the machines.
Yeah.
So that ultimately Neo has to restart the program into the source and then remove Smith.
Yeah.
The Oracle saw that, allowed it to happen, but why? So at what point does the Oracle go, you know what? Okay, now I'm going to turn against the machines to allow for a truce or a peace of war or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They never explicitly say, because the architect says, like, we're the same coin, me and the Oracle, we're the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
just that I don't have the human understanding, the Oracle does. And this has happened 5 times before,
Yeah.
where the Oracle builds you up. But why did this time in the cycle did the Oracle give the one Trinity? Because in the previous 5 iterations or whatever the fuck,
What was the Oracle that gave it? I thought it
because
was
the
something
Oracle,
that like changed with. I thought it was something that the architect changed because in each iteration of the Matrix he changes something to try to make it fit better. So I thought that the change he made for this one was Trinity, and he
see
didn't, and that was a
that's the thing.
variable that he
Technically,
changed, but he didn't expect the catastrophic choice
but the
that like
technical,
having the personal love connection would have.
but the creator of the rumor of the one is the Oracle,
Right.
and the Oracle says to Morpheus, the one will save the world. The Oracle tells Trinity, you will fall in love with the one. So if the Oracle doesn't tell that to Trinity, then Neo just becomes the other versions of the one, which is either humanity or whatever.
Yeah.
So the choice ends up becoming, I'm just going to choose to, reset the matrix and let's whatever. So like at the end of the day, Trinity is the defining factor, what makes Neo different from the other ones.
Right.
But it's why does the Oracle create that future thing to happen? They don't ever explain why. I've Googled it, I've Reddit searched it, and people have a billion different theories. But that's the unanswered question, which is like, why did this time did the Oracle go, you know what? I'm fucking tired of this shit. And like, we know that at this point in Reloaded that the programs can have their own sentient beliefs. They all don't just believe what the machines believe, because the architect believes one way, Oracle believes one way. Obviously, Agent Smith believes one thing. Seraph believes one thing. We all know that stuff.
Merovingian has his own thing.
His girlfriend wife
Yeah.
has her own vendetta. So the programs we know are not just zeros and ones to just believe one thing.
Mm.
And that I think is where people get really like all that stuff happens, and then we get the architect speech, and then that's when people get like real like bogged down, because the architect talks like a fucking doofus. Like once people start hearing the
He
idea
talks like
like
a robot.
he talks like a robot, and once he starts talking about from the get-go, like, you're not the first one we've met, and they give you so many hints throughout the entire movie, like Neo is not the only one.
Yeah.
The Merovingian even says at the fucking fight sequence, like,
Yeah, I mean, they give it throughout this movie because definitely in the first Matrix, they're like, no, he's the one.
You're the one.
But yeah, in Reloaded, yeah, they give a lot. The Merovingian gives the most clues that like he's not the first Matrix. I mean, he basically says at one point, he's like, I survived your predecessors, and I don't know why nobody else in the movie heard that and was like, hold on, predecessors?
Well, he says no, Neo's like, I can handle them. And he says, handle me? Your predecessors treated me with much more respect, or something like that. So it's like, okay, from there, Morpheus should have been like, hold on a second. So at the end of the movie, when Neo's like, the prophecy was a lie, Morpheus should be like, well, you know what? Makes sense. I heard the Merovingian.
Yeah.
And everything he said to me was true, because the Keymaker, all this kind of shit. So maybe I can believe what Neo's saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's when people start going like,
I don't know. I also
really
get to that point where it's like, I don't know why he said that, because like,
he's a dick.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why Neo said like the prophecy isn't true. Like, the prophecy is technically true. It's just not true in the way that they want it to be true.
Well, the prophecy was once they find the whatever.
I think the prophecy wasn't.
The war
The prophecy is like the one will end the war.
Which technically is true.
Yeah, technically it's true. Like, you'll end the war. I mean, Zion will fall, but like the war will be over.
But it doesn't matter because the one always picks.
Yeah.
The other door.
The what was it, 23 people to restart the next round?
Yeah, whatever, the 7 or whatever the fuck it was.
It was like, it's like some fucking division of
the one has always picked that door.
Yeah.
So technically the Morpheus will never know that the prophecy is not true because that's the prophecy comes true. It's just the machine prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But even then, so I love this movie. I love Carrie-Anne Moss. I love Keanu Reeves. I love all those people in the movie. But there's still something about like Neo, and maybe, I'm sure this has probably been 1,000 times analyzed that I just never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu Reeves is like kind of stoic acting makes complete sense as Neo because like he's like part machine.
Yeah.
So it's like of course he's gonna be like real like, whoa, or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, but Trinity's love for Neo, like, do you think that it's real, or because she was told by the Oracle at some point in her life that Morpheus is gonna find the one and then that she's gonna love the one? Is that a manufactured love or is that actual love? Like, what do you think? What do you think? Like,
Are you talking about Trinity's love for Neo or Neo's love for Trinity?
Trinity's love for Neo.
I don't know, man. This is a dangerous philosophical slope we're going down. This is like a chicken and the egg scenario. It's like,
well, no, because to me it's like,
well, because I mean, the basic root of that is like, does she love him because he's Neo, or does she love him because he's the one?
Well, again, the Oracle has foresight.
Yeah.
The Oracle understands the programs, and the Oracle has built Agent Smith and has built Neo.
Right.
So
I mean, my gut reaction is to say that she actually likes him, loves him, because especially, I mean, all of the basis in the first movie is like, she's kind of like, I wouldn't say she's like indifferent to him, but like, she's really
there's
like
no romance there.
I mean, she's not like super romantic or whatever, but like clearly she like has an attachment to him even like from the beginning. And like even at that point, I mean, I know that like Morpheus had been dumping it in her head that he's the one, but like,
yeah,
she really didn't believe it. I don't think that much until I think it's the Cypher bit where she like finally, like admits that he's the one and that she loves him. So
yeah, I think that she loves him because she was told to love him.
Mm.
I think the Oracle.
That's some Agent Smith thinking right there. That's
I think the Oracle was that, like, hey, you're gonna fall in love with the one, and your captain, just by chance, is going to find the one.
Mm.
Well, perfect.
Well, I guess my question to that would be, because Morpheus has been searching for the one a long time.
However long, yeah.
Have they picked up other people that they thought might have been the one? So maybe, because that would be another thing where it's like, if they picked up other people that they thought might have been the one, and then she'd had a relationship with them, and she's like, "You ain't it because I don't love you." Like, that's another.
But they probably, the Oracle already knows who the one is the whole time.
Right, but they don't know until they take them to the.
No, but they're just.
So they could have picked up multiple different people, and then they all take all of them to the Oracle, and the Oracle's like, "Nah, that ain't it, Chief," and then they have to go.
But that's all part of the Oracle's plan to keep them on their toes for like, okay, we're gonna keep building up until Morpheus is like, no, this guy is it.
Yeah.
This guy is it, even though they never say why Morpheus thinks this guy is it.
Yeah, it's never really explained where they're like, this guy, this is the one.
They'll never really explain. So that's what I really think that people get hung up on is that all that part of the choice and option and the versions of the Matrix that have existed already and the different ones and the fact that the one is actually The one is pretty much like the one is the dragon from Wheel of Time. Like it's gonna save the world, but also could destroy the world. It's that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect equivalent, but my favorite sequence in Reloaded is definitely the highway sequence. I think it's an amazing sequence. Morpheus is so fucking cool, and that the sword and the machine pistol. He fights the ghost people. No, he doesn't beat them one against two, but he has a cool. He has the sheath sword. He hits them. He holds it. He pulls it out, and all that cool shit. Love that sequence.
I think all of the stuff from like the Merovingian to like the end of the highway sequence is like, so definitely like my favorite part of the movie, which is like 40 minutes of the fucking movie. So
yeah,
but it's it's so good.
I also love Neo saving Trinity, where he just creates a fucking vortex of cars that like.
Oh yeah.
How many pods of humans just get dumped for being killed in that fucking at the machine source? Just a bunch of pods get dumped out because all dead humans that Neo just killed. Oh, good job, the one.
Yeah.
So I love that, but Revolutions.
Tell me about it.
This is where at the end of Reloaded with Neo having powers in the real world, that's where we start going into like, okay, clearly here's the second question I have to ask you, Zach. I've been Matrix deep for years.
Okay.
Right. I haven't come to the right answer yet.
Okay.
To what I think. So why do you think Neo has powers in the real world?
I really don't.
Do you want to hear?
I've honestly tried to think about it for a while, and I don't know if I have a satisfactory answer. My initial gut feeling is he has powers in the real world because he's gone further than any of the other ones have gone up to this point. Because I feel like, especially, I mean, you get to the end of Matrix 1 and he like does the shit where he like fucking sees the code and he like disrupts Smith by like exploding his fucking body. I feel like the way that they like think about that and talk about that, I feel like no other, like, not like Morpheus and them, because obviously they've never seen any shit like that. But I feel like even the way that like Oracle and other like programs talk about him after that, I feel like they've never seen one do quite the things that he does. Because even his thing, like the Merovingian sees him stop bullets, and he's never seen that before either. Like I feel like he just has, even in the Matrix, I feel like he has powers that are like beyond what any of his predecessors have had up to this point. And I feel like he's become so ingrained in like the Matrix programming and like machine language and stuff like that, that like part of it might have like imprinted onto his brain or something like that. I don't know.
So I'll tell you what some of the things I've seen, which is that we know Neo has the source code in him. What's the whole point of the one? So I'm guessing the Oracle has pasteurized Neo to become. I don't have an opinion on other ones because I don't see it that way. I think all the ones have really great abilities. Who knows to what extent, I don't know. But I think that if that is the case, it's the Oracle just like pushing Neo to like, because who knows if the Oracle, if the other ones saw a guy bend a spoon. I don't know. Maybe not. You know, maybe they only had a jump program that like, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But one theory is that the Neo has the source code already. In that now all the machines have that source code, so that's why he can activate that in the real world. The other theory is the one I think is cooler.
Okay.
Which is that the real world is still the Matrix. It's a second level of the Matrix that they don't know they're in.
That's pretty fucked if that's true.
So it's a top layer, then a next layer.
That's some Inception level shit where it's just like layers of the Matrix.
Yeah, which I don't think will be true. I think that it's going to be the source code thing.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that we see Niobe as an old person, and I'm assuming that Neo's body was like kept in some sort of cryo sleep or something, which is why he's still young. I don't know. Or it's the Matrix, and then they're gonna unplug themselves, and then whatever. So I don't know which one I believe. I do think the more realistic one is the first one, which is that Neo just has the source code and he can activate it because he's part software.
Yeah, that one makes sense.
You
to
know.
me.
But I could also see them being like, "Yo, fuck it, dude. You're still in the Matrix, dude."
I mean, honestly, that second one kind of makes more sense when you have that bit where he loses eyesight and he like basically sees code in the real world.
Sees code, and then also that like Trinity's alive. Well, how's Trinity alive? Because she never died, dude.
Yeah.
Because she never died. Because she's always been in the pod. You know what I mean, or some shit like that. So I could see either one making sense. I don't know which one I prefer yet, but they both make sense.
I think I lean more towards source code, but
well, I mean, it makes sense in terms of like, but how do you see code if your eyes are dead? You know, like how do you see code? How is there code in real life except for the machines?
Well, you know,
like
I might put my foot on that. Is it code or does it just see lights? I don't know if he actually sees like code.
It's like lights.
He sees like energy almost. Like energy just looks bright to him. Like it's like a key thing. Like it's anime shit. Yeah. That's anime shit where he like sees people's energy. He sees like energy coming off of like objects and people.
Well, how do you feel about final fight sequence?
How do you feel about Neo one?
Final Fight Revolutions. How do you feel about it?
Honestly, I'm kind of like let down by it. It's a lot of like
it's kind of shitty.
It's kind of shitty. Like it's a lot of like flying around and like. I mean, the Superman punches are like cool, where they're like they hit each other like Mach speed and like explode the water around them. Like that looks kind of cool, but like when they're like just like twirling around in the air, I'm like, this kind of dumb. But then he throws them into a building and they have this like actual fight scene in the building. I'm like, okay, this is tight. And then they get out of the building. I'm like, this is boring again.
Yeah, I would love if it had been like.
Also, like I like the visual of like all of the Agent Smiths just like all over the place. But movie-wise, I'm like, why don't you all just like fucking kill him?
Because it has to be one-on-one. So just like it started, it has to end that way. I also love the idea, like, okay, Neo gets reinserted into the Matrix to fight Smith, which AKA just means to insert the program, which means to just die, so the program can take over and assimilate
hold on.
Smith.
So I feel like I got it, but I just want to make sure that I wrap my head around it, because they have the point where he gets taken over by Smith, where he lets himself get taken over by Smith.
Yep.
And then the machines
wins.
Like jolt him or like punch him full of something. Is that just like a virus?
That's like code. Yeah, that's like the source code.
Okay. And so then that just breaks down Smith's program and like
to infect Smith again.
Cause like a catastrophic meltdown of like the Smith program.
Right. So, which obviously we know from the new movie.
Apparently
Smith is still there.
It didn't matter.
Whatever.
Because he's still around. So he don't look the same, but he's still there.
Right. I definitely think the final fight sequence it's kind of like, with how good the first fight sequence was at the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
And I get that you can't have that same thing because they have all these powers now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's like
there's something so
Superman at this point. So.
Yeah, there's something so goofy about Neo walking into the city, and now it's like not like, oh, I have 50 Smiths. No, I took over the whole city.
Well, like I took over the whole Matrix. Like every single person is Smith.
the whole everybody is me.
Yeah.
And something about that is like really fucking like, that's goofy.
Yeah, it's a little goofy.
That's goofy. It's not saying that, and I mean, this has bullet time, and these people wear leather suits.
Yeah.
Like Trinity's walking through a hotel wearing a full dominatrix leather outfit, and no one's like.
Nobody cares.
Also, real quick, why does Morpheus say to Trinity, "Never go on the freeway"?
Yeah, I don't get that bit either.
Take the freeway. You should never go on the freeway. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't get. Yeah, I don't. I still don't understand that warning.
Is it because of road rage?
Like I feel like it's like I guess it's just like that freeways are like. I don't know. I guess they're just inherently more dangerous than like regular roads, but like.
Is it because you're always surrounded by people?
Okay, so this is my thinking that I thought of when I rewatched it, which is that
Agents
maybe the thing is like on the freeway, there's no easy access to like an exit phone.
Could be.
So if you get stuck on the freeway, like if you get surrounded by agents or something like that, or you like get in a car chase and they like surround you on the freeway, like you can't, like you're just fucked at that point. There's no way for you to get access to like a landline anywhere.
I always just took it as like, okay, if you're being chased by agents, we already know agents can inhabit any button.
Right.
So if you're just driving down the road, any person at any point, any time,
could be an
like
agent.
we see in Reloaded, can turn to an agent because they all see you. So that's just always how I took it. I was like, okay, you're just always surrounded by potential enemies.
Yeah, but that's like any road.
But if you're on a back road, like 2 people versus like 100 cars, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the context of the Matrix, like they're always in the middle of like New York style cities. Like they're always surrounded by cars. So
also, why the fuck can they only send 2 to 3 agents at a time?
Yeah, that part I don't get. That there's only like
send
like
50 agents.
Well, that was like they basically start off Reloaded, and they're like, "Oh, there's a new third agent," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
okay, so why don't you just make like why don't you just make like 10 of them or whatever?
Send 10. Who cares?
Because like
send 10 of them.
I guess the hubris would be that like nobody could even kill one, so like why would we need to send more than like 3? But then you have Neo out here who can like kick all their asses. So.
Yeah.
But I guess Neo's not. I guess for the majority of the time, like Neo isn't there, so I guess
he's not there.
Matter as much. But
it's sad too because I have so little to say about Revolutions.
Yeah, I mean the real world stuff is like cool, but like it's not as fucking cool as Reloaded.
Yeah, I don't really care about the real world stuff actually at all.
I mean, I like the dock sequence. I think it's interesting mostly because I just think the mechs look super fucking dope. I like the that they look, and the fight sequence is cool, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about any of the.
But I just don't have any. I don't have any sort of like. I don't care about any of those characters.
Yeah, I don't care about any of those characters.
If it's not Morpheus,
the only one that I kind of like is Mifune, just because he's got like the old grizzled war vet character archetype that like I enjoy, but like he doesn't really have any other character.
I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. You know, all I care about is Morpheus, Trinity, Neo.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I care about. What if in the new movie, that guy in Reloaded we see who Neo saved, what if he plays a big part in the movie?
The kid? Rat boy?
Yeah, the guy who always tries to come up with Neo.
Yeah. The guy who becomes like the big hero or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be so fucking funny. When I rank them, literally it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's
I
1,
would
2,
agree
3
with that ranking.
And like 3 is like
we'll see where 4 has to fit in with this, but
right. Well, let's end there.
Okay.
With 4, what do you now want to see from 4? Hope to see, expect to see, not see? What would make you happy? What would make you bummed out about Matrix 4?
I mean, I'm already kind of bummed out about it, but like I don't want to see them doing the typical long-awaited soft reboot shit where like we're seeing a bunch of similar characters and a couple of new characters that I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I would like to see an action sequence on par with the highway scene from Reloaded. If we got anything close to that, that would be kind of dope. Oh, I was thinking about this too a little bit. Which was because I remember when the Resurrection trailer first came out, we were talking about the fact that all of them are like jumping off of buildings and like destroying shit behind them and shit like that.
Yeah.
And how we hadn't really seen anything like that. And I feel like there was a moment where I saw something similar to that happened in in Revolutions or Reloaded. I can't remember who did it. I feel like it might have been shit. Maybe I was just thinking of Smith doing it at the end.
Well, all the agents do it. We know that for sure.
Oh, that was what I was thinking of. Was that like I don't know why I had it in my head that like operators or not operators, whatever they call themselves. Humans or whatever can do that in the Matrix. But yeah, that's like agent powers where they're like like the force of whatever they're doing is like destroying the environment around them.
Like, and that's why I was saying about the Asian girl.
Yeah.
That when she jumps off the roof and hits the corner of the building, the building smashes apart and she jumps off of that. Like, we know that like Morpheus can jump from a building to building, But we never see him like jump off the building and then land a building and push off and like explode.
Yeah.
And it could just be a visual style that they're choosing. But part of me thinks that that's just going to be Seraph or something like that. You know what I mean? That's like a Seraph to a new Oracle or some shit like that.
Maybe. I don't know. They better have
And
an explanation for it. That's all I know.
I think for me, even though I'm already let down that it's happening, it's here. I'll be here in like 5 days.
5 days.
Here's why I need number one, and I'm not even gonna make a joke. It's not even a joke. It's not about Dragula.
Wait.
Number one.
You don't want number one to be Dragula?
It is there, but it's faded. It's faded. Like you can't access it.
Okay.
Because number one is that I need Neo. I see Neo has short hair at some point.
Does he?
In one of the trailers, he has like bald head.
Oh yeah, no, they do have a shot of that.
So we know that he's been reborn again or whatever, has the plugs.
Something.
I need him to, at some point, whether it's the final fight sequence or whatever it is, have the slicked back, like pompadour glasses with the not the shitty trench coat we see in this movie. Because I'm hoping that all we see in this movie is like the first act. Yeah. I want him to have the fucking Messiah fucking gown, trench coat, or
I need his reloaded outfit is his best outfit.
I disagree. Only because I think one looks the coolest, but outfit for number one is not the Messiah.
Yeah.
One is like, I'm a cool cyberpunk bad guy or badass. Neo in 2 and 3, that is the
Messiah.
I'm the Messiah. I have the fucking all the way up to my neck. I have the fucking not leather trench coat.
It's the thick
trench coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is the monk outfit. That's a Chinese inspired looking outfit. I need that Neo to show up in the new movie.
Yeah. Not
this fucking like janky ass. I just stole a trench coat from a store and put it over my fucking t-shirt.
Yeah.
That we see in the trailer. I need him to be like, at some point in the movie, because we never see him with sunglasses at all. So I know that there's going to be a scene where he's going to be sitting there and like either put them on or they're going to jack in and he's going to be like, I need guns. Or he would never say that because he never has guns anymore. But like,
that's true.
Something like that. And then he'll have the glasses.
And guns.
The little fucking, yeah. So I need that. And I need it to not just be, I need also... And
I need it to not just be the first movie all over again.
Exactly that, but I'm so hoping. I don't know the probability of this, but I'm hoping at the end of the movie, either he'll wake up, Neo will either get up, and then we'll see fucking Lawrence Fishburne. But Niobe's old.
Have we seen Niobe? I don't think I'd seen her yet.
Dude, pull it up. She's old as fuck.
It's still Jada Pinkett Smith, right?
Yes. So I'm pretty sure that Neo's been in a fucking cryo sleep or something. His body's been like kind of cryo.
Like his real body?
Yeah, his real body.
Interesting. Huh. No, I hadn't seen that bit.
You saw the picture of her?
Yeah, she looks old as fuck, dude.
So I can see that, like, okay, you know what? Morpheus is dead. The Morpheus we have now is just a copy of him or something. I don't fucking know. Morpheus' grandson, I don't fucking know. But we know that Lawrence Fishburne has said in interviews that he just was never asked to be in it. And I'm hoping that they're just, he's bullshitting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hoping that he's like playing kayfabe.
That's what I'm hoping.
Because they went to Hugo Weaving and asked him. He just said, I couldn't, our schedules couldn't align.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they went to Carrie-Anne Moss, obviously. They went to fucking Keanu, obviously. Yeah. There is no way they wouldn't have gone to Fishburne and been like, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And even though Fishburne has said they never came to me, I bet he's lying.
I would believe that he's lying.
We're going to get a mid-credit scene or end credit scene or something, and Neo's going to see Morpheus, and it's going to be fucking, like, the best.
It sounds like...
It's going to be the best.
I'd be down for that. I'd be down.
And then we get fucking Rage Against the Machine. I don't know what song they're gonna pick this time.
I don't know. I hope the one from Reloaded again. That was a good one. Well, that's the weird one. You get the end of the first or second movie, and it's like Rage Against the Machine. Hell yeah, fucking yeah. And then you get to the end of the third one, and it's like some fucking like Indian hymn. And I was like, I'm down for this. I'm down for this 100%.
Because why are you raging anymore? The rage is over.
But I love the Rage so much.
But the Rage
It's
is
so
over.
unexpected where you just get
it's
in,
peace
he
now.
punches you in the face, and like, Rage Against the Machine is here, bitch.
The Rage is over now. But it'll be so great because who knows if they're gonna be like, you know what, new trilogy.
We'll have
they're
to
going
see
to.
how we feel after this fourth one, if we are still wanting a new trilogy or not.
Well, I'm saying they don't just make 4 movies.
Well, that's true.
They're gonna be like, this is the beginning of a second trilogy of a whole new set of characters that Neo's gonna.
I can see them going the Jurassic World route.
Yeah, they're gonna do a whole new trilogy. So, but we'll find out in the next today's the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21.
5 days, I believe.
Yep. We're closing in. We'll be here to talk about it, and I know I'll probably end up watching it 3 times before we even do the pod.
I'll probably watch it at least twice.
So, Zach, anything else you want to add or say about Matrix Reloaded, the movies, Revolutions, Resurrection, before we end the pod?
No Dracula. Disappointing.
Yeah, seriously, right?
So disappointing.
They had a perfect opportunity to in the club scene.
Dude. Also, okay, hold on. So we
Especially
can talk about that.
In
That club is a Blade club, first of all.
Oh, Club Hell?
Club Hell? First of all,
Club Hell, yeah.
That club is fucking sick, but it's just Blade. It's just the Blade club.
It's Blade.
But without
Well,
vampires.
the Merovingian's just Blade.
Yeah, he's just Blade, but not in Blade.
That's fucking, what's his name? Frost?
Yeah. He's Frost,
Deacon
but he dresses
Frost?
nicer.
Yeah, exactly.
His outfit, oh my god. That fucking like Satan outfit he has, that shit is dope looking. Like, hell yeah. Wear it up.
Well, hey guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back next week with more Check the Vending Machines with The Matrix Resurrections, and we'll see how I guess we'll see how we feel.
We'll see if we like it or not.
Yep. And then after that, hopefully Kingsman.
Yeah,
hopefully.
should be Kingsman the week after that.
And then hopefully hopefully we should do an end of year wrap up.
That would
general.
That would be that first weekend of January.
Cool. Well, that's the plan for now. We'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. We'll see you back next week.
See you guys.